great pleasure to be with you, Mr. Dan Quaye. And you always shed a lot of light on Jack and Jill history. It's been quite some time since you were here, because I think you came to Jack and Jill in 1989, and you had some very pleasant experiences here. And we thank God for how far the Lord has brought us. Now, I'd like to know about an injury that kept you out of school for close to a term, and I think affected your academic career a bit. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
The thing that really kept me from school for a whole term was an injury. I had a fracture on my arm, and as a result of that, I think I was repeated for the class. So I had to wait for my juniors coming from class to rejoin them, because I couldn't. Even though I sat for the tech term exams, I couldn't pass. I couldn't pass because I had been in school, out of school for almost a whole term. But I think with that, I remember Mrs. Quaye sent Miss Benefit to come and find out what was actually the problem. And when she was told, she also sent Miss Jolo to tell my father that she would want to come and see me. And when I came back to school, she was so much excited. And I was admitted at 37 Military Hospital for some time. You know, I had to be on POP for some time. And I was there in the hospital and not learning. I think after the POP, I was asked to come home. But because of the POP, it was itching. It was really, really, really itching. So I find objects to put in there to end the childish thoughts, you know. So I was sent back, and then my dad said, no, if I don't take time, I will not get a proper healing. You know, it was from here to here. I had a mislocation from here to here, so I had to be like that for some time. That is one thing. And that is what really kept me out of school for almost a whole time. And it also caused me, because I had to repeat the class. I think I was here from 1989 to 1995. My stay in Jack and Jill was a very good one. And I'm so grateful to God for the life of Mrs. Quaye. She is a great visionary. In fact, a very great one. She sees years away, and she sees great things coming. And that is one thing I love about her. She is indeed a great mother. And one thing I loved about her is, and I would always love and have learned from her, is invest in the human capacity. She loved to build human capacity. Well, I have really enjoyed my time with her. And somebody may ask, why am I saying this? I'm saying this because basically at the end of the day, I have enjoyed it, and I can testify to that. Because way back when I was in class 3, he sent for my dad. Way back in 93, he sent for my dad. My dad came down from Kumasi, met Mrs. Quaye, and then said, Mr. Quaye, me want you. Na adeɛ baako na mehu. Na sɛ yɛbɛboa ne paa nka ɔbɛyɛ nipa kɛseɛ tu. Adeɛ na mehu ne yɛ music. Mehu music wɔ ne mu paa. Na wɔsi yɛboa no. And just imagine, and as at that time, we were not having a music instructor in the school. But yet, we had the school drums. And somebody in class 3 playing with my seniors in class 6. Eric Tete, Emmanuel Tete, sorry, and then Erika Sari. And they constantly did play the bass drum intermittently, whilst they placed me on the side drum. And at the point in time, sometimes you see Eric playing the tenor drum and then Emmanuel playing that, but I was constantly playing the side drum. And there are times that I don't come to school early, or maybe I'm in the line and Mrs. Kwachi will come and then, na me ba no way. I don't know about my nibie. Hey, when I can't say member, usro, bonidi.
Very interesting.
How come my name, and I'll just go. And you see, with that kind of joy alone, you feel so excited. Sometimes you can say, where is Daniel? Is he playing the drum for me? My future musician, are you there? And then I'm so much excited. And sometimes I say, hey, Daniel said, yes. It's not me, it's God. It's God. And I'm Ma's very honest. She had really, 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 really helped me. She kept encouraging me. She kept encouraging me. She kept encouraging me. And that alone could make me practice. And most often I cut sticks for myself was alone in the class. You see me practicing. Sometimes I go to the uncompleted building and sit there alone and be practicing. And when we come, my seniors will always be watching me whilst I play. And she's always happy. She's always happy. She didn't only tell my dad about this, but she told my mom. And she also told my uncle whom I once lived with, Nanachia. And you see, for a whole director of a school to tell you this, then she really had interest in you. But one thing that I would never forget is the discipline part of her. I remember she told my dad, I like him. I don't just like him, I love him, but when he misbehaves, I'll cane him. So sometimes when I'm doing things and just say, I will tell Mrs. Kwache, then you realize I just do, ow, and then I have to go beg him, because when I get to her office, she will not spare me. She will definitely discipline me. But that was a very good discipline, very good one. And I must be very honest, I have not in one way or the other forgotten about her. I would always remember Mrs. Kwache and remember the Jack and Jill School. She's done a lot for me, a lot for me. You know, when I was in class 4, no, I think it was in class 5 rather, first time before I left Jack and Jill, we had a class test and I couldn't get a pass mark. My teacher said, Daniel, you're not learning, so you won't play the drum again until you get a pass mark. The next class test, when you get a pass mark, you go. We're at assembly and Mrs. Kwachi came. Where is Daniel? Why are you not playing? I couldn't talk because it will seem I'm reporting my teacher. Come on, go and play the band for me. Then she got to find out I thought my teacher who said I shouldn't play. Well, how she got to know, I can't tell, but she found out. So she called the teacher and myself. Mr. Lucas Asase, you did something that I didn't like. When you enjoy Bakupo, and you'll be an accountant, and you'll be a medical doctor, and you'll be an engineer. We need the no yeno. I was here born home by near Buano. What you did today, I didn't like. Never repeat it again, or else I can even decide to sack you from the school, because I'm not helping build the talent. I'm not helping develop the talent in the school. Everybody has got his or her talent. And I think that is what we should be doing. Mrs. Kwachi was not interested in parents paying school fees or children coming to school to come and learn. And no, she was interested in developing talents. Because one thing she told my dad was, she's now developing to build the boarding house and build a music department for the school. And when that, the first person she's considering, I'm one of those people. So yes, you realize that the interest of developing talents was very high. Very high. And when anything music comes to the school, one of the things, people that comes to mind is Daniel. Even though I had other seniors that I danced with, I think the first cultural group was in 94, and I was part of it. And I'm so grateful to God I was part of it. We learned how to dance the kundum dance, the Kwanlogo dance, we learned the Agbaja dance, and the Achiagbeko dance, where the voter, you dance backwards with that kind of that kind of backward thing, and we learned it with so much joy and excitement. And the first school choir that sang in Jack and Jill, I was part of it. When we learned one Professor Nketiah song, I think I've forgotten who really conducted that. And that was, I think, 94, we had a school choir, and 95, before I left in December, we had another school choir. And this is somebody who really loved to develop talents right away from the scratch. From your infancy, she develops you. And that is what I think Jack and Jill stands for. Most of my teachers that really taught at a point, sometimes were not doing well in class and they wanted to stop us from playing the drum. Said, you are warned. And then she will come and say, Eya also tobuni suya dear mami. Eya also tobuni suya dear mami. Eya nyambere kakra, enya music nunkwa, suya dear kakra, music kakra, suya dear kakra, music kakra. And whenever I remember those things, I tell myself, wow, this is a woman who really loves to develop talent and really want to help her own children. She took me as her own. She took me as her own. In fact, I must confess, when my dad had delayed in paying my school fees, others will be sacked from class. But for me, she will call me and said, I catch you up and say, I remember the then secretary of the school, who also was Mr. Insian, who was also the accountant of the school. And then another lady. Those times, if you come to school and you're owing school fees, they come and warn you on Friday. Monday, you come, they'll lash you. Meaning you didn't tell your parents, so they didn't come to pay on Monday. And I think there was a time I was owing, and the lady was the one who came, not Miss Insian, and she lashed me. And the process, Mrs. Kwachi came to me and said, I know me bano. I know me bano. He said, man, but you're the school. Share. Mame Braha. If friend there, we won't find some canibium. At the school car, baby Sammy. Miss Insian, go and see him, bro. Now, as long as I catch on one country, the friends of Wakiti is here. So we use one country and one. M-Pesa, Mr. Remo. Is this benefit? Yakosho Bano. Why? Well, that kind of tiny. Why? And yet, Yakoshin. Oh, Mrs. I should have asked me. And you realize that I was always, sometimes she comes to see me in class. Now they don't go break. Aren't you going for break? I want somebody back camera from Gao. Wow. A person teach you because I know so come home. But from the win here, we teach our back class or no back camera from a media. Maybe no back kakra. And this is somebody who really loved. She didn't only love she loved her country. She loved her country. And I really did enjoy. Anytime I saw the car come to park at the car park and I see her come out of the car, The only thing I do was, my mother is in. And people didn't know why I was so much excited. Especially one of my class one teacher, Mrs. Yamwa. Mrs. Yamwa would always see me do this, the mark of the cross, and she said, Daniel, what's the meaning of that? I said, my mother is in. I said, who is your mother? I said, Mrs. Quaye. And in fact, she's an encourager. She's an encourager. A great one. A great one. She sees 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, way ahead. And that is who we call a visionary. That is who we call a visionary. And I wonder how many visionaries we have today in our country. I wonder. I wonder. And because of that discipline she gave me, had built me spiritually. Because I always wanted to come to school exactly, if not before 7, exactly at 7 o'clock. Because from 7 to 7:15, we have to do our work. Sweep the classroom, sweep the compound. 7:15 to 7:45, silent hour. And there the class will have to pray. And then we get ready for class. Exactly 7:45, we are going for assembly. By 8 o'clock, assembly is over and class starts. And I believe that training she also gave us had really, 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 really molded us. Really molded us. Really, really molded us. And I'm grateful to God for that and for her life. And for her life. If I want to talk about Mrs. Quaye, I would say a lot. Because of her, most teachers, whenever wanted to touch me, were very careful. But let me I remember I was punished with a friend. A teacher punished us to go and clean. We're asked to do some work around the bin area. And then she came to see us. Said, "When I got some munyewi, munya na monko class." And I think there was a time a friend's father came and wanted to. Said, Mr. Ochre, ono banya asma and come about home. Monko kawansem. Ono nsaka no dia me ya ono mpe. We so je ni so ono nsaka dia me ya ono mpe. We so je ni be ma, me so je ni ba. Aye. Daniel dear. And so this is one of the things I really, 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 I can say and say and say more about her. And we won't finish. We won't finish. I've really loved her.